Hey guys, Brendan Tees here from hooper.com.au. I'm joined with a special guest and a good friend of mine, Adam Doyle, today. We're going to ask him a few questions. But before we do, I'd like to give you a free video on how to score more points instantly without putting in any extra work. So if you go watch the workshop, you'll gain the knowledge to score more points. And if you apply it to your games, you'll be able to score more straight away. These are proven methods that Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, you name it, they all use these methods and it'll help you improve your game immensely. If you want to check it out, go to www.hooper.com.au/workshop and you'll find everything there. Doyle, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, mate. It's good to be on Hooper, and I'm loving all the content you're sharing, and it's been awesome.
Thanks, man. I know you've been nagging me to get on a show, so here we are. But I guess I just wanted to start with learning a little bit about where you're from and a little bit about your junior career and kind of how that developed.
Yeah, I'm from Adelaide, born and bred. Was playing basketball for a very young age. I think 6 or 7. Played, my juniors at Sturt from an under 10s through to under 18s, which then I made a jump across the Forestville Eagles, purely just because there was a better opportunity at Forestville for me. So I decided to take that, and yeah, I played a bit of Div 1, and then the back half of my career I played mostly Div 2, and that's why I jumped to Forestville because I was guaranteed to play Div 1, and at that time that was the best for me, and it was probably the smartest move I ever did because I guess it made my basketball career jump from there. And I played from at the men's team from 2000. Well, I was in year 12 actually, which was 2009. And just worked my way up from there, and never played state, never did any of the sassy, never, none of that. A lot of coaches told me I was too small to play basketball and wouldn't make it any further than under 18s. So used that for a bit of motivation, and yeah, I guess I've played 5-6 years professionally. So yeah, I can't complain.
So it's interesting that you say you made that jump from Sturt to Forestville just because it was a better opportunity. I guess for the young viewers out there, what was that decision like? Was that an easy decision, or was that tough because you're leaving your friends in your club, or what was the thought process behind that decision?
It was definitely tough. It definitely wasn't easy. A massive thing because it was under 18, so it was probably, I think I was 16, 17 at the time. So it was more like, I've been with those guys and my friends from under 10s, and that was definitely a hard thing to do. It was more of, do I want to leave? I've got a lot of friendships from there. I've got, all that. And I think the main thing, if they were and are my true friends, they weren't going to say anything. They're going to be happy for me and all that. And that's how it planned out to be. The guys were happy for me. The guys were, excited, and which made it a bit easier. But it definitely was a tough decision. But I knew deep down inside, I knew if I wanted to be serious with basketball and try and make that next level, that this was the jump I was going to have to make. And, sort of just ask the question to myself, do you want to do this long term? Do you want this to be your job? And the answer was yes. And that pretty much pushed me over the edge. And a couple of my school friends actually played for Forestville, which made it a bit easier to move. So I wasn't going to a club that I knew no one. I knew, a couple of people there, but yeah, it was definitely more about just, that was the step I had to take.
And you also mentioned you had a lot of coaches and stuff along the way saying that you're too little to play professionally. You missed out on state teams, and you also said that you played in second division a lot. So what was kind of the realization or the turning point for you that made you want to play basketball for a career and make some money out of it, I guess, when you have all these people telling you that you can't do it and stuff like that?
I think a lot of it as well as pride. I don't like it when people say you can't do this or you can't do that. It just turns it into motivation for me. So when a lot of coaches and even parents said to my dad a lot of the time, like, your son should choose another sport. He's too small to play basketball, but all that sort of stuff. Which, fuels the fire, makes me want to work harder. And, it wasn't easy. There was a lot of before school coaching with fitness coaches, with, all sorts of different getting up before school shooting and all these extra sessions, which made me get to where I am today. And, it's taught me along the way of, mental toughness, discipline and all that, which is what I'm grateful for today. The way I was brought up and what I did. But yeah, it's good. And at the end of the day, it was good to really sign that first contract with Adelaide and prove all those guys wrong, that, all the guys that back in the day they picked and, you never looked at me because I was too small. None of them made it to this level. And it's good to prove them wrong. And I see them out sometimes coaching around the junior stadiums and all that. And I just smile at them and laugh. And, it's pretty funny. But, it's more of the motivation. I turned it into motivation and wanted to prove them wrong.
And it's hard. And there's a lot of people that I talk to who have had setbacks and haven't made teams and missed out on squads and have kind of built the mental toughness and the mental resilience to keep going and keep staying true to the course and finally achieve their goals. So all credit to you for that. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about is we'll fast track a little bit. So you're a development player on the Gold Coast for a few years. I was a development player on the Gold Coast. You're a development player in Adelaide for a few years.
Yeah.
And probably after a couple of years of being a DP, you had a bad injury over in Knox. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that injury and what the process was like doing the rehab and all that sort of stuff? Did you have any thoughts about not being able to play professionally or what's going to happen now or anything like that? Do you want to just take us through that process?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I finished a DP year in Adelaide and went across the Knox to play in the C-ball. And it's pretty much, we had finished our season. We were just playing a visiting college. I'd already packed up my car to move back to Adelaide the next day and was ready to roll and played this game. And I think it was in the third quarter, just went up for a jump shot and my knee I felt a pop and ended up tearing my ACL, ruptured my ACL. So was back home and it was really good that I was still involved with Adelaide at the time because, I got back, got the scans and was pretty much I did it on a Friday and was pretty much in for surgery on the Wednesday. So that was really good to get that out of the way. But I still remember the first day I got the message from the doctor that said you'd ruptured your ACL. I think I'd dropped my phone and just burst into tears and didn't talk to anyone. It was a tough time. It was definitely, I got into a pretty dark place for a month or two, just because I was going from the couch to bed, back to the couch, couldn't do anything, and I felt I had a really good year. And with the talk with the coach, it was pretty close to me actually signing my first deal then that year. So that really hurt. But once again, it goes back to that mental toughness and discipline and all that. And, I watched a lot of YouTube videos actually of guys coming back from the ACLs and all that sort of stuff. And that really got me pumped and was ready to work. So, that made me tough. It actually gave me a bit of time to work on my jump shot too. So, it was, I had that 3 or 4 months where I couldn't really do much besides shoot the basketball. So, it actually really helped and turned me into a pretty nice shooter now. But yeah, it's, I don't wish people to go through that, but it definitely builds mental toughness for guys. And yeah, it was definitely hard. But I don't sit back and regret I never did one or that because I feel like it's built who I am today.
Yeah, for sure. And true credit to you because you are probably the best shooter I've ever played with. I think I'm yet to beat you in a shooting drill fair and square. So I guess that helped in that regard. Let's go to now you're signing your first contract. So you're a DP for a number of years. You missed out on all these teams. You missed out on a state team. Did your ACL, was a DP for a number of years. And you finally signed your first contract in Adelaide. What was that kind of experience like? Were you nervous? Were you excited? How'd that all pan out?
Yeah, well, it was actually. I mean, obviously, I was so excited, but I remember the year before. I think it was my last year. I think I was a training player because I was too old to be a DP that one year. And I had my exit meeting with Joey, and he sort of said, look, I don't know if there's going to be a spot on the team next year, blah blah. And I said, I sort of went home from that and thought I can't keep doing this. I'm going to have to, I'm probably going to stop playing and get a job and whatnot. And then probably a week later, Joey called me and just said, hey, we're going to China. Would you be interested in coming with us? It's 2 weeks, come with us. And I said, yeah, like nothing else to do. I may as well come and, at least maybe it might change his decision. So I went to China and I actually had a pretty good trip, played pretty well. And we got back from China and I was just training with Forestville one night, and I got back and looked at my phone after training and I had a message from Joey Wright saying, can you just give me a call when you can? And I thought in my head, like, went back through everything. I was like, what have I done wrong? Like, surely, why is he texting me at 10 at night saying, can you give me a call? So I gave him a call and, yeah, he said, we want to offer you a full contracted spot and blah, blah. And I was so excited. But yeah, it's hard to explain, really. I mean, you know what it's like after a number of years of being a DP and training, and then you finally get that deal. And it was unreal. I went home and told mum and dad and just celebrated with them, I think, for the first week. And I was that excited. I think I blew my first whole paycheck on just stupid stuff just because I was that excited. But no, it was really good. And just a lot of weight lifted off my shoulders. I, as a young kid, I always wrote. I know a story. My dad and that primary school. It was parent teacher interview night, and mum and dad rolled in. We all had to draw, write down what we wanted to be when we were older, and everyone wrote like, I want to be a policeman, nurse, and all that. And dad looks at mine and says, I want to be a professional basketball player. So it was pretty cool to live out that, and I guess I was very excited.
Yeah, that's unreal. I already mentioned that you're probably the best shooter I've played with. You're also one of the best teammates I've played with. And you're also one of the highest IQ guys I've played with. And I asked you the question, I don't know, probably a month ago now. I said, how do you think that you become such a high IQ player? Was it the people you play with, the coaches, the years that you've played? Or I asked you that question a month ago. So if you'd just like to kind of share what your answer was to everybody right now.
No, of course I will. You're not a bad teammate yourself, so.
Thanks, mate.
I think, I think just being around other guys that are high IQ and watching how they go about their way. Yourself, one of them. You watch you over the years and go by that was really good. And another one was Adam Gibson when he played with Sixers. I used to go around to his house at night and just ask him, and we'd watch game film, and I'd just write down, why'd you do this when you at this time, what were you thinking here, what were you, all that sort of stuff, and just sort of picked his brain. And across the way, just picking a lot of different coaches' brains and players' brains. I've played with a couple of high IQ players and yourself, and like I said, Gibbo, DJ, Kadee, Sobes, they're all high IQ players, and they all do things differently. So just by playing them, but yeah, definitely spending time with them and just picking their brains.
Well, Doyle, I think we'll wrap it up there. Really appreciate your time, and I think it's just nice for everybody out there to see the kind of person you are, and how you can go from such tribulation to becoming a professional basketballer. I think it's a true test to your mental toughness and your mental fortitude, and I think it's a great lesson for all the young people out there watching. So really appreciate your time, mate.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it, and can't wait to keep watching the Hooper content.
Well, funny you mentioned that, because before we wrap up, I just like to remind you that I do have the free workshop on how to score more points. If you want to check it out, go to www.hooper.com.au/workshop. It's got all the tools you need to score more points instantly. just like your favorite NBA players. So make sure you check it out. Once again, Doyle, thanks very much, mate.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.